Life is fleeting. Like a breath, it appears for a moment and then vanishes. We are fragile beings, easily broken. Our days are numbered, and we are constantly aware of our own mortality. Job, a man who knew suffering, compared our lives to a weaver's shuttle. We race across the loom of time, only to be cut short. The thread of our existence is fragile and easily broken. Despite our knowledge of this, we cling to life. We hope for a better tomorrow, even as we face the reality of our own mortality. This tension between hope and despair is at the heart of the human experience. We are caught in a whirlwind of emotions, joy and sorrow, love and loss, hope and despair. These are the threads that make up the tapestry of our lives. We are like flowers that bloom in the morning and wither by nightfall. Our beauty is fleeting, a passing shadow. We strive for greatness, but our achievements are often forgotten. Job compares us to shadows that dance across the wall. We flicker and fade, leaving no lasting mark. Our lives are but a vapor, a mist that disappears with the rising sun. Yet even in our frailty, there is beauty. The very transience of life makes it precious. We cherish the moments we have, knowing that they will not last. We find meaning in love, in relationships, in the pursuit of something greater than ourselves. These are the things that give our lives purpose, even in the face of death. We are born into a world of imperfection. We carry within us the seeds of our own destruction. We are prone to selfishness, greed, and violence. Job reminds us that we are all sinners. We have all fallen short of the glory of God. We are marked by our imperfections, and these imperfections ultimately lead to our demise. We long for purity and righteousness, but we are constantly pulled down by our own weaknesses. We struggle to be good, but we often fail. This weight of our imperfections can feel unbearable at times. We are burdened by guilt and shame. We long for forgiveness, for a way to be cleansed from the stain of our sin. Life is a weary journey. We are burdened by cares, anxieties, and responsibilities. We long for a time of rest, a respite from the storms of life. Job, in his suffering, cried out for a reprieve. He yearned for death, seeing it as a release from his pain. He wished for the grave, where he could finally find peace. We too experience this longing for rest. We grow tired of the constant struggle, the endless cycle of pain and suffering. We seek solace in the arms of sleep, hoping for a moment of oblivion. Even in our darkest moments, we cling to the hope of a better tomorrow. We believe that there is a purpose to our suffering, a reason for our pain. While we are fragile and fleeting, nature exhibits a remarkable resilience. Trees cut down to their stumps have the ability to sprout anew. Life finds a way, even in the face of destruction. Job observed this phenomenon and drew a parallel to human existence. He questioned why humans, unlike trees, are not granted the same opportunity for renewal after death. The image of the tree, springing back to life, offers a glimmer of hope. It suggests that death may not be the end, that there may be a form of renewal beyond the grave. This hope, however, is tempered by the reality of our own mortality. We see no evidence of such resurrection in our own lives. Death is final. It is the end of our earthly existence. Once we breathe our last breath, there is no coming back. The grave is silent, and there is no answer to our cries. Job acknowledges this stark reality. He knows that when he dies, his body will decay, and his spirit will depart. There will be no second chances, no opportunity to make amends. This finality of death can be terrifying. It forces us to confront the consequences of our actions, the choices we have made. It reminds us that our time on earth is limited and precious. The silence of the grave can also be a source of comfort. It represents an end to suffering, a release from the burdens of life. Faced with the inevitability of death and judgment, we may find ourselves longing for oblivion. Job, in his anguish, wished that God would hide him away, granting him a temporary reprieve from suffering. He longed for a time when he would be forgotten, when the pain and sorrow of life would fade from memory. This desire for oblivion speaks to the depths of his despair. This desire for oblivion, however, is not a true solution. It is merely an escape, a way to avoid confronting the realities of our existence. True peace and fulfillment come from facing our fears, accepting our limitations, and finding meaning in the midst of suffering. Despite the bleakness of his situation, Job clung to a glimmer of hope. He expressed a belief that even though he would die, God would remember him. This belief in a continued existence beyond the grave offered him solace. This hope, though faint, sustained him through his darkest hours. It gave him the strength to endure his suffering and to believe that death was not the end. This hope in a life after death is a common thread that runs through many religions and philosophies. It speaks to a deep-seated human longing for something more, a desire for transcendence beyond the limitations of our physical existence. This hope offers a sense of purpose and meaning in a world that can often feel random and chaotic. Job, in his reflections, imagines God as a potter who molds and shapes his creation. He ponders the depth of God's love for humanity, a love so profound that it extends beyond the grave. This image of a loving creator offers comfort and reassurance. It suggests that we are not alone in our struggles, that we are held in the palm of a loving God. This belief in a loving creator provides a foundation for hope and faith. It allows us to trust that even in the face of suffering and death, there is a larger plan at work, a plan guided by love and compassion. This faith does not erase the pain of loss, but it does offer a framework for understanding and enduring it. Throughout his trials, Job's pain remains constant. His hope for renewal is tempered by the reality of his situation. He recognizes that the cycle of suffering and sorrow continues, even in the face of hope. This acknowledgement of ongoing suffering is a sobering reminder that life is not always fair. We may not always understand the reasons for our pain, but we can choose how we respond to it. Despite the persistence of sorrow, we can find meaning and purpose in our struggles. We can choose to embrace life with all its complexities, finding joy in the midst of suffering and hope in the face of despair. Even though our time on earth is limited, our impact on the world can be lasting. We can leave behind a legacy of love, kindness, and compassion that will continue to inspire others long after we are gone.